head-on into another car just moments ago. So desperate driver, stolen vehicle, and ridiculous driving as he's turning southbound onto Woodman. Well, you know, Juan, it might not have been that fast, but I can assure you if you were in that other car, you would not be saying the same thing. Anybody slamming into you as you're just driving along head-on, that's not going to be something that, you know, anybody is going to tolerate very well. Right now we're using the speedometer because, we haven't heard them calling out any speeds. It seems like he's driving a little bit quicker than what the normal traffic is out here, but you can see by that speedometer going about 40 miles an hour. Also very erratic driving. That's one of the reasons why we're having a little bit of trouble keeping that car just in the shot this evening. Basically making that pirouette, or we're making a pirouette as he's driving underneath us. This is going to be Van Nuys Boulevard that you can see that right there, but this is an area where we're going to be joining into the Panorama City area. Brendan working desperately looking for it. I can tell you, Brendan, he's right underneath us there, but he's going to be in the Panorama City area shortly, running red lights. There's another one. You see other cars locking them up. So this is one of those ones where LAPD is going to have to make that decision if they want to re-engage that pursuit to help warn the public, because this person not slowing down as he's continuing on Van Nuys Boulevard, going to be entering the Panorama City here in just a moment. I'm sorry, I was just working with Brennan just for a moment. Well, the high speeds and the erratic driving, definitely, that's the wobble point. That's one of those times when I always say that, you know, I would not want to be the person to make that decision, because in a way you're damned if you do and you're darned if you do and darned if you don't. You know, if they back off and they just let this vehicle drive and he crashes into somebody, well then, you know, the public opinion be, why didn't you warn him? Why didn't you chase him? So it's a very difficult situation. Looks like we're going to be staying away from the Panorama City area and starting working our way into the Van Nuys area, and I am listening, and they are saying that they are going to try to back off, so we might see those vehicles that you see right there with lights and sirens might go off, but earlier on they weren't there, and the driving was not any better. It's just very erratic driving this evening, very dangerous situation, and of course that's a stolen vehicle, so we don't have that much information on that driver, but apparently really desperately trying to get away this evening. Yep, and a lot of traffic underneath that freeway right there, and he's just weaving his way out. North Hills is the area right now, a big dip right there in the roadway. On Nordoff, you guys can see that. LAPD, though, they're using that light to basically kind of give everybody heads up, and there you go. There's that crazy erratic driving, a little bit against traffic. He's just weaving and swerving, and it just seems like every opportunity he has to be erratic, he's been taking it, and that's so dangerous for the public at large. Very high speeds, and then of course what almost seemed to be an intentional head-on collision earlier on. Of course, we mentioned it wasn't like a high speed, he wasn't going 40 miles an hour, but still enough to damage the front of that vehicle, and of course we're hoping that person he hit in that vehicle is going to be okay, and the damage maybe not so significant. But right now, higher speeds, you can see it right there, 70 miles an hour. That's on Nordoff. This is a very residential residential area here in North Hills. Also is an area that I think, oh no, that's Parthenia, where it gets a little bit darker on these streets out here. But you can see how quickly he's moving past everybody, running red lights. I'm just so worried for the public. Hard on the brakes. Nuys. He's slowing down as he's making another sharp turn. Looks like he was going to be trying to go against traffic. Also, something else that you can notice right there this evening is how quickly they're just clicking off these streets out here. Every intersection has been just zipping right by there. Don't know right there. We just went through. I believe that's going to be Dearborn, but you can see that they just zip through. Boom, 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 boom. It gives you an idea, added with that speedometer, how fast this car is going. Another red light with vehicles coming, making their turns, doing what they're supposed to do. And now making another turn, making our way onto Lindsley. And of course, these type of speeds, this type of driving, just so erratic this evening. Lights are off on that suspect vehicle. Hopefully, this might sound strange, but I'm kind of hoping that maybe there was some damage done to that older vehicle that's stolen right now that may impair it, and maybe it'll start overheating here in a moment or two, or something from that earlier collision. Whoa! Oh my goodness. And that's another one of those very, very close calls. LAPD, they're doing what they can to keep the public safe. But see, that's the thing. When we talk with law enforcement, they always say it. It's like the officers, they follow the rules. They have rules they have to follow. The public follows rules. These people, when they're running, when they're suspects, when they're doing criminal acts in a vehicle, they're making their own rules, and it just becomes so dangerous for anybody that's out there on the streets. It does seem like the vehicle is slowing down. I don't know why, but making another hard turn out here, and the pursuit continues. And I believe that we're going to be in the Northridge area right now, and you can see that car just now. We were talking about it slowing down. It looks like it's speeding up again. We're on Roscoe. We're on Roscoe Boulevard right now. Yep. Surface streets. Yeah. Against traffic. Oh. Yeah. Southbound Wilbur. Southbound Wilbur is the last southbound Wilbur from Roscoe. I don't know if we're technically still in Northridge. I know we were near the Northridge Hospital just a few moments ago. I would guess just by looking outside that we're probably going to be getting into the Canoga area and possibly Topanga Canyon if we keep this driving up. You can see see this vehicle moving very quickly here on Wilbur, and again, law enforcement taking the stance right now to try to warn the public. Passing on the left like that as well, so dangerous. Somebody could be setting up for a left turn. You look in your mirrors, everything's clear, and then this guy's coming up at you 60 miles an hour, and you make your turn. That could create a collision. So it is so dangerous. Luckily, that one was a green light right there, but how many of these intersections has he gone through this evening that were solid reds? I mean, and in the valley at this time of night. This is very, very dangerous, and the car's continuing to move along out here this evening. It looks like it's going a little bit slower, but still not slow enough. Stopped would be the optimal speed for this vehicle right now. But you can see some of that damage right there. Sherman Way coming up, and Crystal was talking about the valley. You know Sherman. These are the things. And again, the officers in the pursuing vehicles, ice water in their veins, professionalism on their minds, and they are just doing what they can to keep the public safe and try to get to this suspect and hopefully bring this to an end without anybody getting hurt. Another red, another red, another red. Swerving around right there. Just swerving around on that one. He might have seen that one law enforcement vehicle, an LAPD vehicle, right there at that intersection. That might have been what kind of spooked him. But the reality was that car was actually there trying to keep the public safe. He didn't have his lights and sirens on, but maybe then again he didn't know how close this vehicle was. Speeds, they've just been bumping all over the place. He's been going from relatively slow to extremely fast. Now we're on Oxnard and the LAPD getting closer. This is a street that's a little bit more wide open. Would they do a pit maneuver? That's a tough one. This car extremely fast moving. I don't think they could get right up on there. Got that little S-turn right there. Of course, he's going to take that. He's going to go in the wrong lanes. This has been so dangerous and just hair-raising this evening, watching as this car continues to just avoid accidents. And the folks on the roads staying just safe this evening. Passing over the Orange Blind Busway and making that big wide turn. And now we're northbound Reseda. So basically, we were going south for a long time on Wilbur. Now it looks like we're going to start heading north on Reseda. Obviously, Reseda takes us to the city of Reseda. But again, Reseda Boulevard, we're talking about how we know the valley. It is going to get very busy up there. A lot of shorter intersections, and also a lot more businesses out there. So we're keeping an eye on it. We're probably going to be getting into the Reseda area here. Well, we are. We're in the Reseda area. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, here we go again. First time I seen him on the brakes. Oh, no, 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 no. Just another intersection was a solid red. A number of officers were out there just keeping the public safe. Extremely high speeds out here. We're still in the Reseda area, going to be going back into the Northridge area if he keeps up these speeds. We've already gone through Sherman Way, I believe. So you got to figure how fast this guy's going. We're going to be making our way into Northridge. Again, there's an area that I don't want to sound like if you know the valley so well. A lot of folks don't live in the valley. We can't all be that cool. And so you have to realize that there's a lot of college town up here. Well, now we're turning, so we're going to stay away from that. Thank goodness. I think this is going to be Sherman Way. We're back onto Sherman Way. So let me double check to see if the hospital's there. Yep. So he's back on Sherman Way. So now he's heading back back towards the Van Nuys area. Still incredibly high speed, stolen vehicle. I'm not, can't say exactly. I haven't heard anybody say the exact age of that car, but I would guess that's some late 80s Toyota Corolla right there. So definitely not the newest vehicle, but this evening driving very, very fast. Already had one collision, minor. Look at that, passing on the left again, using that center lane. It is just the most dangerous stuff I have seen in a long time, and I'm so hopeful that when this comes to an end, that nobody is injured, and especially not an innocent person that's just out driving this evening. Yeah. Oh, we're on Roscoe. Balboa. Up, he's turning on Balboa. That's going to be, I have to excuse myself, that we were on Roscoe just a few moments ago. I did call it Sherman Way. We were on Roscoe. Now we made a turn onto Balboa. So we're heading back out of the Van Nuys area, North Hills area. Northridge is where we are. He's on Balboa. The next one is going to be Parthenia coming up here in just a moment or two, which is another, I would say, larger intersection, and a lot of red lights out here this evening. Thank goodness that one was green. So he's going to be making his way back out towards Nordhoff. And again, Nordhoff is one of those streets that we started on. When he had gotten off the freeway earlier on, he got onto Nordhoff, and that got him out of the Panorama City area, Sylmar area, out over here towards this part of the valley. Not saying that he's going to go back. I'm just pointing out little bits of facts out here, but it does look like he's getting into the center lane right there. Nordhoff is definitely coming up, and Nordhoff also a larger street, more. And now we're on Nordhoff, and he is basically heading back towards the Panorama City area, but he's got a long way to go between here and there, and hopefully all the streets that we pass are going to be green lights, and there's going to be no opposing traffic.
Yeah, let's hope. Stu, was he heading northbound on Balboa?
We're on Nordhoff now. We were northbound on Balboa, and now we're on Nordhoff.
So he was
making some weird turn right there, going against traffic. Yeah, going against traffic right there, and continuing on. So I just don't, we never know what these people are thinking when they're fleeing from officers, but to purposely drive into oncoming traffic at high speeds is just the most ludicrous thing to do. And of course, it's why would you want to hurt somebody that has nothing to do with what's going on right now. It is dumbfounding to watch this stuff. And Crystal and Juan, both of you are right. Every time we get through one of these intersections, it does for me. Even now, you get that cold chill. Another red light right there. And just to clarify, I'm sorry, Juan, I did hear your question. We're eastbound
You're
on Nordhoff.
now. Earlier, were you a little bit closer to the 101 than to the 118 on Balboa? It's still quite a ways to the 118, right?
Oh, yes, definitely. There was quite a ways to the 118. And we actually are going to have a freeway coming up here in just a moment, and it's going to be 405. So we have to do the 405. He was on a freeway earlier on. He got on the 170, then on the 5, right before we had gotten to the actual chase. And then a little bit on the 118, but he's pretty much been on surface streets the entire time, driving very recklessly, and you can see how crowded it gets over here. Nordhoff in the 405, always very busy, always packed right here. And hopefully he's not going to do anything. Yep, here he goes against traffic. Oh my goodness. Just trying to get off the freeway. That's another collision right there.
2 collisions so far.
Yeah, so, and this is just so dangerous and so crazy this evening. And it's amazing this car is still on the move, and it's amazing that we haven't seen more damage to any of the other vehicles. And I say that in the most honest way. This is so dangerous. Now we're turning on to Sepulveda. This is another wide street, and it might not be that wide right here, but it's going to get much wider if he continues in that northbound direction. The vehicle continues, and the helicopter still following, the LAPD helicopter, and those ground units. I'm sure I know I'm hearing them talk about ambulances right now, making another U-turn. This is one of many we've seen out here on Sepulveda Boulevard. You can see the vehicles, the officers still in pursuit. I know it sounds almost rude or callous, but I'm really hoping the damage to that vehicle, to his vehicle, is going to be enough to at least impair it and bring this thing to an end after that second collision.
Yeah. It looks like we're seeing a little bit of smoke, Stu. I don't know if I saw that correctly when this car made the turn, but you can see the hood is buckled a little bit, so the car did sustain a little more damage. Let's go ahead and take a look at that second crash that happened just a few moments ago. Look at this. Look at that. That minivan was just trying to get off the freeway, as Stu was saying, and the car just T-boned it. Luckily, we did see that van keep going, so hopefully the driver is okay. They probably pulled aside, but if they have called for ambulances, police are probably just being very careful. They want to make sure that no damage has been made. Now, Stu, it looks like the side windows may be tinted. Does it look like it's just one person in the car? I kind of see like a set of hands, I think, on the steering wheel, but I'm not sure if that's what I'm looking at.
Well, I can tell you it's just the driver in the front seat. That's pretty sure on that. Yeah. Every now and then it lights up and you can see through that windscreen there. It definitely looks like just the driver in the front seat. Don't know if anybody's in that back seat, but this older Toyota, I believe it's going to be a Corolla, really just so much abuse, and you again just hoping that it's going to be enough to bring this vehicle, the damage is going to bring this vehicle to a stop, but it does seem like it's continuing to go out here. LAPD is dealing with 2 accidents now with this vehicle. You can see some kids running in this neighborhood, just running to catch up with that car. That is also something that nobody wants to see. I believe we're on Cedros right now. So this is going to be the Panorama City area. Okay. And the chase is continuing out here this evening as this vehicle continues to elude officers. 2 collisions with civilian vehicles. We're hoping that there's no severe injuries. Another strange intersection right there with other vehicles on Rayen right now. So very residential, a lot of apartments out here. This is all apartments, and you got that apartment parking out there on the streets. So very packed intersections, very packed streets, and the chase continuing. I'm going to go a little wider. So yeah, the LAPD is really still right there. Sometimes they'll just have the helicopter call it, but right now he's on Tobias, so we're in the Panorama City area. Don't know if this is an area that he knows. Hopefully he's going to get out of that car and run, because I just don't know how many more of these intersections I can handle, as he's just been barreling through so many this evening.
It's definitely heart-stopping every time he goes through one of these intersections, as we just saw him run through one and hit a minivan, and then it looked like more of his car was actually damaged. I know we were probably hoping for some flat tires to
We haven't seen that yet. They haven't been able to put out a spike strip yet. That second crash was right around Nordhoff, right under the 405 freeway. If you're just now joining us, we're transitioning from KCAL 9 News at 8 o'clock into KCAL 9 News at 9 o'clock. And this pursuit that we've been watching for the last half hour or more continues here in the San Fernando Valley. Look at this erratic driving being done by this driver inside what we believe to be a stolen car. On the right side of your screen, that is crash number 1 that happened earlier in the evening, and actually not too much later after this pursuit started. That was at Paxton and Telfair. That was in Pacoima. And then we saw that second crash that I mentioned right at Nordhoff, right under the 405 freeway. So we've seen 2 crashes so far. This looks to be like an older model car. We've seen the driver go at high rates of speed in opposite lanes of traffic. Look at this. There it is, that minivan getting hit once again. And as I mentioned earlier, looks like the driver of the minivan was able to keep going, but still, police have called for rescue ambulances apparently to check out the driver. It's a minivan. There could be kids inside, right, Crystal?
Yeah, families live in this area, of course. Stu, did you say this guy was talking to people? You saw him slow down?
Yeah, you know, sometimes we see these drivers and they showboat a little bit. They'll, you know, talk, like hang out the window and talk to people. I'm just shocked that this person that's created so much damage, risked so much life, has, you know, would do something like that this evening. But it did appear that he rolled down the window and was hanging out the window yelling at somebody. It seems that he's making blocks out here. We're back on Cedros and Willis, and then also Cedros and Nordhoff. Looks like he's stopping here at a fruit vendor or a food vendor. I don't know if he's, you know, this is what I'm saying. It's, if this person has any feeling that this is some sort of game or this is, you know, he's having some kind of fun, this is not one of the ones that we've ever seen that are any kind of fun. So much damage so far this evening. Thank goodness nobody's seriously injured that we know of. You know, whiplash, any type of things could happen.
And Stu, one thing I noticed just in the last few minutes or so, that he went from parts of the valley that have wider boulevards, larger streets, wider streets, to areas where the roads are a little bit more narrow, right?
Well, he definitely was in an area where there were plenty of apartment buildings. We're back on to Nordhoff right now, basically heading back towards the 405 where that accident happened. And I would assume, I would guess, I don't want to be too wrong, but I would guess they're still there doing their accident investigation. So is he going to take Sepulveda? Is he going to keep on going in that direction? We're going to see here in just a moment, because he was going to be back up on that 405 freeway here in just a minute.
Yeah, and you can see the damage from his hood, 2 crashes, so the car does have some damage. It looks like he only has one front light working. The other light definitely busted out somehow. Stu, you just saw a person run across the street there.
Yeah, there was somebody running trying to get out of the pedestrian, trying to get out of the way, and also officers from LAPD were out there as well trying to do spike strips. They want to bring this thing to an end as quickly as possible. Right now, we've got back onto Sepulveda Boulevard, so we're going to be heading southbound on Sepulveda from Nordhoff. This is another street where there are a little bit wider, a little less traffic right here, but it's going to start bunching up once he passes Parthenia and starts getting over by Roscoe and all those car dealerships up in that area, and then some sweeping turns.
Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on it. A very dangerous pursuit this evening. Very. I can't stress it enough. I just don't want to see this end with anybody being injured. Heaven forbid, loss of life. We have seen 2 vehicles be damaged already, civilians, innocent people, and of course the stolen vehicle this evening is plenty of damage in the front there. We don't know how it was stolen. We don't know if it was taken in some sort of robbery or just a straight somebody lost it, and sometimes they actually could be something where it's a relative reporting that was somebody they know took the car and didn't return it. That's going to be Roscoe right there. So now we're going to start with those sweeping turns here on Sepulveda, then of course go underneath the railroad tracks. But it's going to be a little wider right here, a little bit more open, but there isn't much officers can do to bring it to an end. Just hopefully that he won't pick up too much speed as we chase him this evening, as we're in the back into the Van Nuys area on Sepulveda Boulevard, making our way southbound, and this pursuit continues.
Stu, I don't see the squad cars. Are they close? Are they far back? Can you give us some sort of idea where they are at this point?
It definitely looks like they have backed off all the way, meaning that they've just they're being tracked right now. You can see the helicopter still in the shot, tracking. No light on it, so that the driver might feel that things have calmed down. Maybe he's gotten away with something, and then maybe he'll find a spot where he can park this vehicle and just get out of it, which would be the best bet for this evening, because this one just has that tale of just not ending well, and I just want this to come to a stop, and I want to be wrong and say, well, at least nobody was seriously hurt.
Yeah, Stu, earlier you had mentioned spike strips. Is this the first time that we've heard that maybe spike strips are going to be deployed in this pursuit? Because it seems like either this guy was going too fast or just officers weren't able to set up ahead of the pursuit.
Well, it was the first time we'd seen them try to deploy those spike strips. There might have been moments where officers were trying to get in position, but you have to understand, too, a driver like this who was swerving into vehicles earlier on, collided with two cars that we know of, and then this blatant disregard. Officers, they are paid and trained to do dangerous things. Like, whoa, no.
Oh,
No.
Oh, no.
Look at that. And those were kids right there. So hopefully, you just think that maybe even that driver with no conscience at all will say, oh, wow. So anyway, that was southbound Sepulveda, just through Victory right there, where those children and parents were, small children and parents were crossing the road. This is one of those ones where you just are like, what is going on? Now you have this a civilian, might even be challenging this person. I hope not, because the guy in that other car has no idea what he's dealing with this evening. And this he looks like they did. I'm hearing now that they've completely pulled the plug, meaning that law enforcement, the helicopter is backed off, LAPD on the ground is backed off as well. And this is one of those ones, hopefully this driver will just...
Where is this, dude? Is this like a...
this is going to be Van Owen and Sepulveda. I'm sorry, Victory and Sepulveda. This is going to be that parking lot right there. And he's going to be making his way. It looks like he's trying to make a left turn onto Victory. So he's actually heading towards downtown Van Nuys. Maybe even no, he's not going to go that way. He's going to be staying on smaller streets.
I thought he was in a strip mall for a second there. Then he pulled out back into a street.
He might be pulling home almost,
into
it seems.
Somewhere where he's familiar with,
Anywhere except behind the wheel of that car. That's the only place this person needs to be. And you just hope that it happens before somebody gets hurt. LAPD making that decision right now to really back off, and they have. And the terminology is they pulled the plug, meaning that they are not in pursuit, they're not tracking, they're not following. So we're going to keep an eye on it just to see where this person goes. Making these turns out here, this is definitely going to be the Van Nuys area. In these residential neighborhoods, he's going back out towards Victory. Again, this is a very residential area. I don't know if he knows these areas. I don't know if he's looking for a spot to abandon the vehicle, but right now, just driving slowly. Maybe he's just doubling back to see if the officers really have left. And I can assure you, they have. They are not behind him or even out looking for him right now.
And so, Stu, if he pulls over or stops, like if he does, what happens then?
Well, the public's safe, and that's going to be a huge plus. There's a person like this, I'm sure he will have a run-in with law enforcement at another time. Or, there's always that odd chance, but right now the helicopter maybe doesn't have another call. When I say the helicopter, I'm talking about LAPD. Going to keep an eye out, just kind of in the area, so perhaps if he gets out, they'll be able to track him and then maybe just be able to take this person into custody. But definitely challenging other drivers out here on the road this evening as we're on Columbus, which is a smaller street out here in the Van Nuys neighborhood, and continuing just to drive along this evening, driving aggressively, very, very, I'm sorry about that move right there, very, very angry driver. That's about the best way to say it. But just want him to stop and get out of the car.
Well, Stu, I've got some breaking news here to add to this coverage.
Wow.
I'm in track talking with the assignment desk here. They're apparently telling me that the driver is in communication with the LAPD now and wants to turn themselves in. So we're wondering why he just doesn't pull over and bring this to an end. But apparently he has been on the phone for a while. It looks now like the window may be rolled down. I do see somebody there, and it looks like he does have something to his ear. So according to our folks here, it seems like he wants to end this, and he's on the phone with LAPD. So that's a new development there.
And I do hear some sirens, Stu, so do you see any squad cars in the area?
I don't see any squad cars in the area. He's pulling into another, I believe that this is a grocery store type of place out here off of Sepulveda. You know what, I don't think he can hear us, but
No.
Van Nuys Police Department is very, very close by, just a couple of blocks, and he could easily just drive in there, park that vehicle, and go give himself up. He's now communicating with a van that's just not giving him just enough room there. And look, he gave him something. He tossed him something.
Really?
That driver of that van tossed him something, and so I wonder what that was all about. Making another U-turn out here. Look, you can see no officers. Well, there is one at the bottom of the screen in the intersection. So right now they are, let's just say, loosely in the area, keeping an eye on that vehicle. And he's stopped there. Maybe he's going to get back out onto the roadway. That's going to be Van Owen near Sepulveda. Right now, though, just kind of moving around slowly. What our assignment desks, I'm sure they're getting that information from somewhere, but I can tell you, it definitely looks like he is on the phone. Yeah. Maybe that's one of the many reasons why he's driving so poorly this evening. Maybe he's just doesn't have that ability, and again, it is against the law. Never talk on the phone while you're driving.
Well, it would make sense. He's on the phone, Stu, because the assignment desk says he is on the phone talking to the LAPD about turning himself in, so that's possibly who he's on the phone with. Yeah.
That van seems to be following him. We'll see here in just a moment, or maybe just coincidentally leaving the same area. But you can see the officers from LAPD right there, a couple of the shops, and you can see the lights and sirens. They're going to go talk to that guy in the van. Obviously, officers have some information about what's going on. Don't know what that handoff was. I'm very curious. He tossed something into the vehicle there. And continuing back on to Sepulveda Boulevard, this is the area where we saw those children with the parents earlier on. Yeah. So definitely, tension is high. More black and whites in the area, not in pursuit of this vehicle, but definitely cruising. If this does come to an end, I have a feeling that a number of law enforcement will miraculously appear and take this person into custody, as they should.
Yeah, Stu, we just saw that video that you showed us a little while ago. We re-racked that video. It was the interchange between the driver of this car and the driver of that white van. You were saying that you saw something being thrown. Here we go. Here's the video again, where it looks like the driver of that van may have tossed something towards the driver's way, but there was some sort of exchange there, and the driver kept going, and as you mentioned, LAPD obviously wanted to talk to that driver. Of course, it's common sense, but you probably shouldn't get involved with a pursuit suspect in the middle of a pursuit, but apparently this person did, and they're going to want to talk to them. Perhaps they have some more information. But last we heard, this driver was on the phone, possibly with the LAPD, wanting to turn himself in. Why he just didn't pull over at the time is still unknown to us. But he has been on the phone for quite a bit. And again, it's a stolen car. We've seen 2 collisions so far tonight. We're into the pursuit now, 45 minutes or so. We've picked it up right around 8:30, so we're getting close to the 45-minute mark. And you can see from our Sky 9, here's collision number 1, as you see right there. This was shortly after the pursuit started. This was near Paxton and Telfair. That was in Pacoima. And this pursuit pretty much hitting several cities of the San Fernando Valley, staying in the 818 for the most part, not on many freeways, except early on. It was on the 5 freeway, the 170, for just a little bit. And then for the most part, we've seen this pursuit unfold on surface streets, going at high rates of speed. And here we have, Stu, what is this, a car's like pacing the driver? What's going on?
This is looks like a civilian trying to get involved. Basically just kind of matching the speed. Some, this is the thing too. This silver-tongued devil that's driving this vehicle right here, talking on the phone, says that he's going to be dropping or turning himself in at Roscoe and Willis. So if this really happens, is anybody's guess, but that seems to be the information right now. Some people think that they can talk themselves out of a speeding ticket. This person don't think he's going to be able to talk himself out of whatever has been going on this evening. This has been horrific to watch. Sometimes we get a little jovial with these chases, there's no doubt about it, but this one has just been nail-biting the entire time, dangerous the entire time. 2 collisions, that one where thank goodness none of those children were struck, but that was very close. And this is the thing, a vehicle just even bumping into a small child in a crosswalk could really be devastating. So this is not fun at all.
Is that Willis there, Stu, on the left?
No, we're coming up on Roscoe and Sepulveda. We're at the 7-Eleven right there. There's a couple of other food places in that right there. Yeah. Don't know, this is the thing. Sometimes we see these guys do weird things where they showboat and they act crazy, and it's kind of funny, but in this case, you just don't know what this person is thinking, and this is nothing to poke fun at this evening as he continues to drive, making his way back onto Roscoe. This is going to be tough. This is another one where it's one of those intersections where there's a lot of traffic, and we'll see which way he goes. Close to the 405 again. We had that accident there earlier where he tried to get underneath, and this is another intersection like Nordhoff. Very, very busy, especially at the 405. So we're going to keep an eye on it, and it looks like going a little bit against traffic right there, but maybe no other cars. And keeping an eye on it. Roscoe is where we're at right now, and as memory serves me right, he is going the right direction for Willis. And there we go, another law enforcement vehicle getting behind him again, but no lights and sirens. We're going to keep an eye on what's going on. They were coming up on the 405, another spot, very, very busy. There's Orion. Looks like we're getting off of Roscoe, and now we're going to be taking Orion. This is another very tight street. Yeah. And will become very residential here in just a moment.
So he was going to turn himself in, Stu, at what, Willis and Roscoe? Is that right?
That's what he said. Apparently, yeah. that was the information that was passed along. Again, who knows? Who knows what this person is thinking? And we've been watching him being challenging with other vehicles out here this evening, which it's just not good in any way. Right now we're on Chase. Let's see if he turns onto Chase.
Yeah, it looks like Chase
Street. He's making a turn onto Chase, and he's going to be making his way back over to Sepulveda if he gets that far. A lot of folks out here. This is an area with a lot of apartment buildings.
4 people? Yeah, 4 people.
Don't know if there's a discussion going on right now. Don't know. I'm sure there was some words being.
What do you say?
Basically, I looked like he grabbed his cell phone. Looked like he grabbed his cell phone. Maybe he was basically saying, "Hey, I'm that guy in that chase," or "I'm being chased by cops," or something. And maybe a couple people trying to grab those few moments of fame. Very dark out here. There's some other people in that intersection.
Stu, I noticed both of his headlights are now on. Are those his brights?
I don't, probably, maybe he turned on his brights. Thank goodness he has lights on at all.
There's another guy.
It looks like some more people out here, yeah. Yep, it might be people that are watching KCAL tonight and just, there you go.
What was that? Did you see that?
And he's just throwing things at the vehicle. Wow. And it should also be a wake-up call for that driver that he is not some sort of rebel hero. He's more of the villain. Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt, and this person put so many lives in danger this evening. Anybody who has been watching surely wants this thing to come to an end. There you go. We're going to be very, very close to to Roscoe. I was just going to say the name of it's Galpin Ford is where we're at. We're right there. So that's going to be Langdon and Roscoe. I don't know if it's a green light. It usually doesn't change that quickly. I ran a red. And back onto Roscoe and working our way away from the 405 back towards Sepulveda Boulevard.
The good thing is here he is by those car dealerships, as we see there, bright lights lighting up the road to just basically highlight the cars at the car dealerships. So we do see that things are a little brighter there. And it seems like he's stopping anywhere that there's a pedestrian, Stu, to exchange a few words. Here he is with this guy here.
Definitely.
And they just handed something off.
Another, yeah, a little bit more of another exchange going on right there. So don't know what kind of exchange that is. Somehow I don't think it was business cards, but we'll leave that for the law enforcement to try to figure out. But yeah, definitely something going on right there. Going to see, since he has a moment here, we maybe get a little bit of a better look at that guy. He's definitely on the phone. He's doing a lot of talking. He's burning up those minutes. Hopefully he's got some sort of unlimited plan. Kind of creeping his way out onto Roscoe. It is solid red. This is another one of the ones that takes a little bit for the lights to change. But it does seem like he has a little bit of an opening to go against traffic. And just driving so slowly this evening, it's just, and it just look at all these other folks out there. They don't know what to do. They're just like, what is this guy doing? That's what I'd be thinking, is like, what is that guy doing?
Now, what a wide intersection there too, Stu. And we've seen people trying to get involved. We don't know if this is what's happening right there, but now there's a truck here that's kind of blocking this driver's way. And we've seen people, at least one guy, throw something to the back window of this car. People getting involved, as we were saying, just let the police do their work, and they know how to do it best. But we've seen quite a lot of action just in less than an hour that we've been above this pursuit, Stu. We've seen it all tonight, pretty much.
We definitely haven't. Thank goodness we haven't seen anybody seriously hurt, and I don't want to see that at all. My worry is still for pedestrians, even though this person is distracted. He's driving very erratically. We don't know if he's impaired, but just the general, the way this person's been driving. That guy in the Dodge truck doesn't seem too happy with the situation. Kind of blocked him there at that gas station, now trailing behind him. But again, you just think to yourself that anybody in the public, any civilian person, is not going to risk damage to their vehicles to bring this to an end. And of course, law enforcement is not going to, they don't want you to get involved, because you don't know what this driver's, he might be armed. We don't know. So, just stopping that vehicle is just one piece of him going into custody.
Well, he's definitely making people mad out there. We saw that one pedestrian try to throw something at the car. Is that truck still in pursuit as well? He is.
Well, he's
right
following along.
He's going through red lights.
Now, there you go. That guy's getting sucked into this, and you just got to, if you could talk to him, you'd say, don't get sucked in. You're running red lights. You're breaking laws now to try to get this guy not to break laws. How does that make any sense? This is the thing. It just gets more and more dangerous, more and more bizarre this evening. Sepulveda Boulevard, I think we're going to be coming up on Parthenia if we haven't passed it already. It looks like he's leaning over. Sorry, we're already at Nordhoff, so it's been a while. And this guy continuing to just kind of squeeze in there. And this is the thing: if he runs this red light, the suspect, we've seen this all evening. But for that other person to just follow behind him, now he's breaking laws, and it's just if you're in the public, should just let this go and try to stay away from this person as much as possible.
I've never seen a case before, Stu, where police will pat this guy on the back and say, hey, thanks for helping us out here.
Right. Right. We've never have seen anything like that, and I definitely don't want to see, and this is the thing, we don't know if that person was armed and in that kind of mental state. This could be very, very dangerous. And see, now you got
he's
got his hands out the window, and he's signaling other drivers, and it's just like you just want this to come to an end, and it just continues to go and go and go.
This is getting interesting with this guy who was just crossed paths, and now he doesn't want to let go of the pursuit, and now he's kind of turned into someone monitoring the scene.
Yeah. And traffic is getting thicker here, Stu.
Yes. Well, the traffic's getting thicker because of the erratic driving, the slow driving right there.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to pass him, and I don't blame him. You just don't. You don't. So many times we've seen bizarre things where there's car-to-car shootings and things like that, and you just don't want to be in that crossfire. So I'm sure the people that are backing off, they're doing the right thing. They are doing the correct thing. Yeah. That guy in the truck, this is the thing. You just don't want to see him get hurt, and you just wish you could give him some advice. And if he's on the phone, that's the other thing too. If he's on the phone with 911, which he should be, then they would be telling him the same thing. Do not engage this guy. Back off. So he's probably not on the phone, at least with law enforcement. So this is just stranger and stranger and stranger this evening.
This is one of the more bizarre pursuits I've seen. We don't even see any squad cars pursuing, and now we see a black truck sort of tailing this guy.
All right, so our Stu Miguel live above this pursuit in the San Fernando Valley. What we're watching unfold right now over the last few minutes or so, this black truck all of a sudden came into contact with the car, the stolen car that's been followed by police for most of the evening tonight. Suddenly this black truck is now following in this pursuit. Now, Stu, a question for you. Here's that initial contact that he had with the black truck there, and then the black truck just started following him, has run a few red lights to keep up with this car. Have we ever seen in cases where maybe LAPD is in an undercover car? Could that be the case, or not really for a pursuit?
Well, if that's an officer of the law, then he would be conducting himself a lot differently. And then also if that is an off-duty officer, he would know that they've told the other officers to back off, so there would be no reason. He'd be in a lot of trouble. Let's just leave it like that. If that's an officer in there, that person not getting a pat on the back either, he's probably going to get some sort of reprimand. Something also that's just a little unusual. There was a silver Corvette that just made a turn in front of these two, and I think that's the same one we saw on Langdon just a few moments ago when he was over by Langdon and Sepulveda. So there might be some other folks out here interested in this chase, maybe just would-be watchers, just your typical LA folks. But making these turns again, now we're on to Kester. I don't think we've been on Kester this evening, but residential. I would say this is going to be North Hills, maybe a borderline Mission Hills, but definitely on Kester. And that truck still following along. Don't know what that plan is right there, and hopefully the driver of that truck has some sort of plan. But right now, he's just being just endangering himself and his property as he continues to shadow this vehicle that cut him off near the gas station over there at the corner of Roscoe and Sepulveda earlier on. Though I have to say, the car itself, at least the driving has become a little bit more subdued.
Indeed. And Stu, he's in a residential area now, isn't he?
Very residential.
Yeah.
That's going to be Kester and Tupper. These are all homes.
Right.
And I'm hearing that law enforcement, because of maybe the added interaction, is going to make themselves known to that suspect here in just a moment or two. So we're going to keep an eye on it, and we're probably going to see the Reds and Blues pop up here again in just a moment or two.
So we've gone from pursuit to tracking, and now it's going to be very obvious. Stu is telling us that we're going to see the LAPD make their appearance known here in the San Fernando Valley. This pursuit now into residential streets that are lined with cars on both sides of the street, a lot more narrow streets and a lot darker streets as well. We've seen the driver of this car do quite a bit of erratic driving tonight, high speeds, crossing, into oncoming traffic, running red lights, smashing into 2 other vehicles, all while fleeing from the LAPD. This is a stolen vehicle as far as we understand. LAPD telling us that earlier today, there's that first crash that we witnessed from Sky 9. This was near Paxton and Telfair in the city of Pacoima. And the one that followed after that, that was near the 405 freeway as well, also in the San Fernando Valley. But you can see there, now we're watching from Stu's live picture, and we see a helicopter in the shot there as well. This new development in this pursuit, which is a black pickup truck, it looks like, a black truck that came into contact with the driver not long ago and started to give chase as well. A very slow speed pursuit now in the residential areas of the San Fernando Valley. So,
and our assignment desk has said, out of the safety of the community, the LAPD commander has authorized ground units to re-engage this pursuit. So we did see
Stu's right.
a couple squad cars out there. Looks like they're getting back up and monitoring this closely, because now we have this driver in a black truck who has taken it upon himself to pursue this stolen car, and the driver that we've seen do some really erratic moves. Stu, what can you tell? There's our news van, I believe. Stu, is that our news van?
There's our news van, and that just shows you when there's breaking news. We're there on the ground and in the air. You just got to think too that the officers from LAPD, now they have to deal with that pickup truck. So we're not giving anything away. LAPD wants to bring this to an end. They are talking about authorized pit maneuver to bring this to an end. But now you've got that Dodge truck there, that Ram right behind him. And we'll have to see what goes on. And I'm wondering if maybe that is a law enforcement vehicle, because it definitely seems like he wants to try to do a pit maneuver with his personal vehicle, which is going to be interesting to say the least. And the law enforcement doesn't seem to be making any effort to block him.
Maybe he's going to try to cut him off here, Stu. I think maybe he's going to try to cut him off and stop in front of him, perhaps.
Just kind of
He's not afraid of running into other cars, so he just needs to be real careful. Is that back? Look at that back tire on the truck, Stu. Do you see that back tire? It looks like it's on the truck.
It just has white walls on it.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. Okay,
it's just white wall writing. Yeah, but it shows you that this person, maybe he is law enforcement. That could be. That would be. It would make a lot of sense. But you just think that he would not want to damage his own vehicle to do something like this. Here you have some undercovers, a lot of undercovers.
Is that what they are, Stu?
I don't know if that was Crystal or Juan who came up with who that driver in that truck was, but I'm guessing you guys are right. That is going to be law enforcement. This was all law enforcement.
Who's that woman in the purple sweater there? Must be undercover for them to allow her to be so close.
No, those are relatives.
Relatives. They brought relatives out.
Yeah.
So he must have been on the phone with relatives, and they must have convinced him. And looks like the woman is talking to him to give up peacefully, and hopefully that's what we're going to see here.
Much kinder, gentler LAPD. Look at them, how they are just taking this person out of that vehicle after all that this evening and just taking him into custody. We're on Willis. We kind of got, I think we're Willis and Nordhoff.
Well, he did say he'd pull over around Willis, so he did do that.
Yep.
And again,
you know what? Are they going after the pickup truck? They're going after the pickup.
Wow.
They're going to go after that pickup truck. So this is one of the ones where I'm going to keep an eye on these guys, because that scene's going to be there, and we do know he's just pulling over. Yeah, that guy's just going to pull over. So I guess, here we go, bouncing back and forth like a little tennis match. Yeah, this was not a law enforcement officer, obviously, as he's being pulled over right now, and we're going to see that they're taking this very seriously. And this is the thing, too. I think law enforcement really wants the public to know, do not get involved with any of these chases. Do not think you're helping. You are not.
So this driver of the black pickup truck that Stu is now over gave chase, or at least started to follow the car that we were following for a while here on KCAL 9 News at 8 and 9. It looks like the seatbelt has come off, and he's going to be stepping outside because obviously officers want to talk to him. He got involved, and once police was able to apprehend this suspect, this guy took off. But look at this. A guy who wanted to get involved is now basically doing the pursuit perp recipe here, right,
Definitely.
Stu? Doing the shuffle. He'll probably go down to his knees at one point.
Doing the shuffle right there. And obviously going to follow the rules
goes,
right now.
yeah.
I'm sure he's starting to realize that he is in trouble himself. And this is probably about a residential block and a half away from where they took that suspect into custody. With, admittedly, with the help of that pickup truck, he basically corralled him into an area where he couldn't get out of the way where other officers could approach the vehicle. But again, law enforcement does not want any of the public's help, especially with a dangerous suspect. Of course, they want help with information and ideas and anything like that, intellectual ideas. But as far as getting involved in a pursuit or any kind of dangerous apprehension of a suspect, never, never, never get involved. Safety is always first. Let the trained professionals handle it.
Stu, I'm curious what kind of punishment this guy might get, a talking to. Could he be taken to jail?
Well, it depends. If this person has any kind of warrants or any other problems, he might actually be taken in and may be booked. But we don't. I have no idea. Hopefully, it's just going to be some kind of light reprimand, just enough to make him think never to do something like that again. We're going to watch as we get the cuffs on him. Then we're going to go swing back over to the original scene, where I'm sure that original driver is in custody.
Oh boy!
There you go. They're taking him into custody right there. So the cuffs are going on, and just take a peek down the street to see where how that other one ended. It did look like they were taking him into custody, some family members there, but it does seem like it is all over.
Yeah.
2 other vehicles damaged. Hopefully nobody seriously injured this evening.
Yeah, Stu, this pursuit got very interesting once the driver of that pickup truck got involved, and just seconds ago we saw him being put into handcuffs. So proof there that no good deed goes unpunished. At least this guy tried to help things out tonight, and he now was face down in the asphalt in the middle of the street, and now being put into handcuffs, at least till cops figure out what the heck's going on here, right?
Definitely. They're going to want to talk to him. They want to sort things out, want to make sure that he is as righteous as he apparently appeared to be to do all that. And they'll probably, the cuffs are on him now.
Yeah.
They may take him off. But again, it depends on who he is and what past that person has. But definitely, it can't say it enough. Do not get involved in any kind of dangerous situation, especially with law enforcement.
And we did see them search his truck. They did go over and look to make sure that there wasn't anybody else inside or no weapons. So most likely they are going to talk to him and try to figure out what he was doing, why did he get involved, and who knows what's going to happen. But hopefully we'll continue to follow the story tomorrow and see what happens, because we haven't seen something like this. We have seen other members of the public get involved one way or the other, but nothing like this. Definitely where somebody is given chase in a black pickup truck there in the San Fernando Valley.
Who probably thought he was doing something good, and now he's quickly learning that what he did was not
so very good at all.
Not so very good at all.
All right, so this pursuit started around 8:30. It is now 9:37. We're going to take a quick break and come back with more news here on KCAL 9 News at 9.
Hi, I'm me. And that's me 30 days ago before I switched to Spectrum. With Spectrum TV, I get tons of HD and thousands of titles free on demand. With satellite, I have to have special equipment to watch on demand, plus that dish on my roof.
Get Spectrum TV and Internet from $89.98 a month. Call 833-271-8998.
Spectrum Internet has speeds of 100 megabits, so I can surf, my wife can stream, and the kids can game. All at once. Our internet can't keep up with all our devices, so I schedule all of our online time. I get every other Tuesday.
Get Spectrum TV and Internet from $89.98 a month.
Best of all, Spectrum bought out my old contract, making it easy to switch. Wait, what? Will they do that for me? Yeah, because I'm you, 30 days from now.
Get Spectrum TV and Internet from $89.98 a month. Plus, ask how you can save up to 40% on your wireless bill with Spectrum Mobile. Better services at a better price. Call 833-271-8998.
Sarah's last tuition payment sent off. Feeling good?
Oh, yeah. Now I'm ready to focus on my project.
This is why we plan. Oof. You never cease to amaze me, Mike.
See how investing with a JP Morgan advisor can help you. Visit your local Chase branch.
Local is stories that affect you.
Neighbors are waking up to a water main break.
Local is breaking news in your community.
Wow, not only did he stop, he left it in gear.
Local is coverage where you live.
It's nice to see an entire community coming out and helping to clean up the local beach.
Local is the stories important to you.
Firefighters had to make a very precise rescue to save his life.
Local is KCAL 9 News, #1 choice for local news.
Now at 9:30, new investigations. President Donald Trump says he'll cooperate after the House Judiciary Committee sent 80 letters to the White House, family members, organizations, and other people.
Deadly tornadoes, more people missing in Alabama after a monster twister tears through the South.
Toddler thrown, video going viral after police say a daycare worker hurt a child.
Hello, everyone. I'm Juan Fernandez.
I'm Crystal Cruz in for Sharon Tay.
Democrats in the House Judiciary Committee are expanding their investigations into President Trump issuing requests for documents to more than 70 individuals and organizations.
And the president says he'll cooperate. KCAL 9's Nicole Killian is at the White House with more details.
Juan, the list is long and wide-ranging. It includes everyone from the president's sons to his business and some of his former aides and associates in his campaign and the administration.
During a White House event with the North Dakota state football team,